got big egos, it's plain to see. I didn't leave the life left me.
Hey, it's Tabasco, the sophisticated biker, and this is Garage Therapy. Welcome to the Motorcycle Clubhouse. I'm still having trouble or struggling with acknowledging these platforms that are just keep, I don't know, they're taking mainstream media news stories with regard to clubs business, and then they're just creating they've created an entire platform off of it actually, and they're just sharing, the bad news. And again, what's wrong with that is obviously the mainstream media is never going to get it right. Law enforcement is always going to lie about it, and if you're using a podcast or a platform maybe to help a club set the record straight, if they even cared to, which none of the ones I've ever dealt with ever actually cared to, because they know it doesn't matter. The citizens and law enforcement are always going to think what they think. Doesn't matter, no matter what. But there are a couple righteous platforms. There's one called Your Favorite Biker. I think he's on YouTube. I know he's on TikTok. I like the guy. I like what he has to say because he's not wrong. I mean, he knows the life, obviously, and I know what club he's in. But again, you'll never hear me drop names of clubs because it's just wrong. And if you're out there creating a platform and you're just sharing news media or it's just, man, it drives me crazy. You don't talk about other clubs, man. You don't spread the bad news when shit happens and it's not good on the media and stuff. All you're doing is just furthering the agenda against motorcycle clubs, and that drives me freaking nuts, man. And I swear, one of the most popular. I can't even stand it. I mean, I know he's been around a long time. He's got a big platform. I can't stand it because you just, I mean, it turned into a carnival, and maybe that's what people want. I mean, maybe it'll be always more popular than a real program like mine. But you know what? I can't do it. I cannot. It doesn't matter if I'm currently in a club or not. It matters is that's exactly why it matters. Because if it's the life, it's in your life. It's not a weekend deal. It's your life, man. And it's been my life since the day I was born. And I've covered this on another podcast, was that, you don't even need a patch to live the life of an MC because it's in you. It is your life, period. And it's my life and will always be my life. It was my life from the day I was born. Some people have asked, well, if you're not wearing a patch now or whatever, then why are you talking? Well, look, I simply talk to educate. You know what? It's my duty, that in a patch or not, I feel it is my duty. I have been taught by some of the absolute top dogs in the top clubs. I mean, and I'll cover more about that. Not which clubs, so many of you know. But I had the luck, I guess, of being at the right place at the right time. Transition comes quickly in the club life. I heard a statistic from Your Favorite Biker saying that the average lifespan of a club member is like 3 years. I don't know if that's true. I don't know where he got that information. That sounds about right, I guess. Although I've known many who have been in longer. Ones that came up that I brought up, and then ones that came up. Well, I don't know if anybody who came up with me is either still alive or is still active. No, I'd have to think about that. But I'm almost, like I said, it was almost 20 years, and there were transitions, and people talk about that. Maybe a different podcast. Is it okay to transition from one club to another? Well, I guess. I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, you don't want to club hop. There was a guy who was in. He made it in our club, but before he came down to where I was, in charge, and I mean, it's not that I didn't like him, but myself and one of the oldest members of this club, and it wasn't Mr. Black, it was somebody else. We just didn't have a good feeling about him, man, because this shit didn't add up. And immediately I found out that he was telling stories, I'll say lies, but I mean, if I don't ask you no questions and don't tell me no lies, this guy's just making up stories. He came down, blah blah blah. His wife. Anyway, that wasn't true. I found out very quickly. We should have bounced him right then, but I wasn't actually top dog at the time. So, the top dog in my opinion, which was Mr. Black, he kind of felt sorry for the kid, and he told me that, and I'm like, yeah, man, but he's either too stupid to tell the truth, and then I can't trust him, and he's pulling some shenanigans. I mean, it's pretty bad when we have to. I mean, we feel it necessary to. Well, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not gonna say it, but I'm just saying, the warning signs were up, and turns out I don't understand this kid. He was with me on his last day. We made a trip out of state and up to a national event, and he rode with me. And he started telling his lies as soon as he got we got on the road, man, and started stopping and stuff. And I'm like, dude, who are you talking to? You telling me, well, when I started, 6 years ago, I smacked him right in the mouth, backhanded him. I said, well, what the fuck? I'm just sitting here with just me and you. You're with the top guy in the area in the state. I said, and you're riding with me, and you want to start out the conversation like I don't know how long you've been in. I don't know where you came from. I don't know who your family is. I know all of that. So stop with the bullshit. And I said, man, you're a good dude. I mean, you've got a good heart. It seems to that, or you're a Fed snitch or cop. I don't know which. But here's the thing. Stop. You're good enough. Be who you are, and that will be good enough. If you try to be somebody you're not, then that ain't gonna work. And he actually left the club on that trip. He quit. But then he showed up at, oh gosh, one, two, three, four, about 4 or 5 different 1% nations in the next 2 years, I guess. 2 years, probably two. Yeah, probably 2 years. One twice. One in this state, and one he showed up several months later in another state with the same club trying to sign up. Now there's your red flags. And in fact, I mean, some of these clubs were dead rivals or have been dead rivals for years. And you show up at one and you get pictures. I mean, here's the thing: if you're in the life and you're at the high level, like we were, and really still are, because I still talk to people all the time that are at the top of their game in their clubs. They ask advice, or they ask, and look, I'm not gonna ever, and they know better. I wouldn't have their respect if I was there sitting there talking to them about somebody else, some other club, right? I mean, they say that if you're sitting there, if you're dining with someone who's going to talk about other clubs, then you know that they're going to be dining with them talking about your club, right? So I won't talk about clubs, business, and they know that, and that's why they still respect me. And I've earned it, and I maintain it. But, when it comes to something like this, I get the calls, and they'll be like, hey, man, you know this dude, or you heard this about so-and-so or so-and-so. And again, it wouldn't be inner workings of another club. I've had them call and ask me, do you know so-and-so, or do you have contact information for so-and-so at a different club? And I say, yeah. I said, I'll tell you what. And they know better than to ask me for it, because they know the code. I'm not going to give anybody's number out without talking to them first and getting permission. And I will then, obviously, and how it works in the club life, or should, you give them your contact information, and you say, could you pass this along to the person that I knew, and then they can reach back if they want, right? So that's how it works. But this kid, I mean, and I don't know. Last I heard, I know he's wearing a 1% patch, and I wouldn't trust that guy as far as I can see him. And again, I know most about him as much as I can. I mean, we knew his family and up north and stuff. And but here's the thing about snitches: they're not necessarily employed by the government. So you're not gonna run a background check and find out this guy's a Fed snitch. Hell, we ran a background check at work. Now, this is a real job, right? So I was a regional manager for an installation services company for data. I had 11 states. I had 3 regional offices. Long story short, we hired a guy out of Ohio, if I remember right. Now, HR was in Arkansas, so they handled all that shit. I was the regional manager. So we hired this dude, and he passes the background checks, whatever. He's been working for me, I don't know, probably 8-10 months. And, I thought he was way too intelligent to be, I mean, not to down my other guys, because I'm just saying this guy's a computer engineer, network genius type guy, and that's not who we employed. We employed electricians, data technicians, so installation, and not that that's easy. I'm just saying that an engineer is a totally different breed. This guy was obviously an engineer. I said, you're way, way overqualified for pulling cable, and cable infrastructure and hardware infrastructure. And anyway, he convinced me. He's like, yeah, but I need a job, blah blah blah. So they when I got the call over in Pennsylvania, he had been arrested for, I don't know, I think it was New Jersey actually, but he got arrested for shoplifting, and we did a big box store, and I don't really give a shit. It's Walmart. Was one of our customers. When Walmart's one of your customers, they're one of your biggest or the biggest egg in your basket. It doesn't mean that the only ones, but you can't. There's so much work there. But anyway, we would go in at night. Our techs would go in at night and do upgrades for hardware and stuff. So he had gotten arrested for shoplifting, I guess. I don't know. They had security there or whatever. So they had impounded our company van. I had like 30 vans per office, and I rented more. But anyway, when they went through the van, I guess, to look for stolen merchandise, there was a couple of servers in there, which wasn't even our project. So these were like, they call them legacy, but old servers that was a part of another upgrade project. A lot of times when you upgrade a component at a big box or somebody, you'll just leave the other one tagged, and then somebody comes along from somewhere and picks them up like they're supposed to. Well, he had helped himself to a couple of them. I'm like, oh wow. And they said, well, he's got federal warrants out of Pennsylvania. I'm like, what? And they're like, oh yeah, he'd hacked. I think it was Discover or something like that. Or it was Discover and a particular store, and I don't remember what store, but whatever it was, whenever anybody took, like, it might have been Kohl's or something, I don't know, but whenever anyone took a return back and they swiped their Discover to put it back on it, it would automatically charge like a 1 or 2 cent surplus fee and then offshore it to a bank account that he set up. Is that some genius shit or what? I wish I could figure out how to do that. But he had gotten caught, but they said by the time they had caught him, it was like close to $750,000 or something, or $500,000, almost $1 million that he had offshored, and he had gotten caught. He had done time before. None of this showed up on the background check, by the way, because I don't know, because the background check company my corporate uses was a piece of shit, I guess, or they didn't check. I don't know what it was. It didn't check federal, and only checked the county that they lived in or something. So really, like I said, doing a background check on somebody who's a snitch isn't going to help you, because they're not, it's not going to be in the system. And if they are a federal employee and they're a plant to be, you're not going to find it again. It's going to look too good to be true, because they've got all the tools to make it look like it's fantastic. And I'll still stand by this. The biggest threat to you individually, if you're doing something wrong or illegal, I won't say wrong, because I don't know that all the laws are just. That's a whole nother podcast. It's probably a whole nother channel I should start. But, the American injustice system makes it up as they go. And, so I'm not even going to say that I just say it broke the laws of the American injustice system. But it's the guy that you've been, partying with, riding with for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Somebody you consider a friend or a club brother, somebody you partied with in the past, you trust, whatever, and they get popped and don't tell you. And so they're in some deep shit, and so they cut a deal, and they're going to snitch everybody out. And I've seen it happen more than once in big 1% clubs. Not this super big federal, super secret, investigation undercover. I can't remember the guy's name was years ago. In fact, I wouldn't even say it, because I wouldn't want to promote this cop, this piece of shit. That's not, I tell you what, man. I had to pull the shirts off because the print on demand company stopped printing, and I haven't had time to get back to them, redo them under another print on demand company. But we had a shirt that said, if you break the law to enforce the law, you're still a criminal, or you are a criminal. And that's the truth, man. I can't stand these cops that, it's not about justice. We all know that. It's not even remotely. It's a money machine, man. Those are the street hustlers for the racketeering of the biggest, gang in the world, which is the federal government. And they use their street thugs, which is law enforcement everywhere. And it's just a freaking money machine. Think about it. It's a vacuum. Just sucks up money off the street every day, all day long. It's just insane, man. But the guy that you trust, that you've partied with or you've been friends with, gets popped. and he turns on, you have no reason not to trust him. He's already earned your trust. So that's the guy that's the most dangerous. That's why I kept my circles that small. I mean, truly, truly, I had to trust a few people, like like my state VP and who previously was my state warlord and bodyguard, and then my other one I made the state or we made the state warlord after he was promoted up to VP. Yeah, I had to trust them, and I still do. Those are one of the very two people in the whole world I trust. Because seriously, I mean, it's on one hand the people that I truly, truly trust, um, and even that being said, it's not always necessary to share everything with anybody. Even my wife. I mean, God love her, and I kept her away from the club stuff as much as I possibly could when it came to the bad business. And only after I had left was she drug into something when they came up my house at me. And yeah, that's a big no-no too, by the way. That'll get you blackballed from about every club in the United States that's have any kind of has any kind of values. So anyway, that kind of fucked things up. I think I've probably been more disrespected by the clubs that I served, the clubs that I served the most and spent the most time and money on, and built the biggest. As I learned and began building chapters for the clubs I was in and organizing. In the end, what that means is that they don't value you. They value your service to them, and when you stop serving them, then you become no value to them, and that's just the God's honest truth. That's why, like the opening song, I had written this like a year ago, I read it a couple years ago, I guess now. Well, and I say it all the time. I didn't leave. I didn't quit the life quit me, um, because I didn't change. I was righteous. I still believe I gave people the benefit of the doubt and took them at face value. And more times than not, you know, we get the shaft on that deal. People that you tried to train and bring up, and you shared, your time and your knowledge with, end up, the ones that are backstabbing you the hardest, and that's hard lessons to learn. And but it just makes you more cautious and careful to keep to yourself, or keep your words to yourself, and again make your circles even smaller. I mean, the club that I left when I hung the patch last time, in a very big position, as well as did every state officer as well. And then it just kind of trickled down. Some shit went down, and literally about 80% of that club left. And I'm talking guys that had over 50 years hung their patch. That's how bad it was. I feel it didn't have to be that way, but it is what it is. But in the end, I wouldn't trade any of it, because my opinion, like I have a lot of pictures, and here I'll show you here in a second, of this room, because I'm getting ready to tear this room down because we're selling this house because of the wonderful Bidenomics. No, actually, the market's up. It's been probably my last time in my life to ever maybe make a nickel on something in real estate, because I've had a pretty shitty track record up till now. But always buy high and sell low is a story of my life. But no, I want to get out of town. I want to get some land and get out of here. And if we can pocket some bank, it's going to be it's a pain in the ass, because I wasn't really planning on moving from here. Although this wasn't my first pick. It was our fifth pick, actually. But when we bought this house, it was that bidding war situation, and you were bidding 20-30% over asking price, or 20-30,000 over asking price, and still losing to cash buyers out of the north. I don't know what it's like right now. I know the market's up. It's ridiculous. I certainly feel sorry for your kids and mine if they're young adults, because they ain't got a chance in hell of buying a house at the moment or in the near future. The way I see it, it's just retarded. I mean, the way these prices are up. But anyway, there's a lot of memories in this room going back actually to the very beginning of me being patched. I don't see a probate picture up here. And a lot of these, unfortunately, there's many people up here on this wall that aren't here anymore, that aren't on the planet. And I say unfortunately, although I don't believe unfortunately, because we're only here for a minute. And to be honest with you, it's been great, and it's the biggest pain in the ass. And I don't know what the hell I was thinking if I chose to come down here, but I don't know. It depends on what you believe. Okay, I pulled the camera off here. See what I can do as far as this room. So it kind of starts over there, and then it goes along. Those are all, unfortunately, brothers up there that have passed away. And there's a lot of collages. I'll just go around the room here. A lot of these are all pictures from that wall over there is mainly leaders of other clubs. I'm moving it so you can't see, you can't focus in on see who they were or who they are. And then we got like this. What the hell is this at? Oh, there. All right, there is more club stuff, and then these are. This was all kind of like my history, and people will say, "Here, hang on a second, let me get this back into where the hell it goes." All right, there you go. See, through the magic of technology, I was able to get my shit straight and not take a bunch of your time with it. But anyway, there's a lot of people up there, and some of these people are people that weren't righteous, ended up being not righteous, and I was asked why would I have them still up there? Why haven't I redone the collages at the time? I say because every one of them is important, right? Some were for love, some were for a lesson. Both were important. It taught me lessons in life, one way or another. But I mean, I don't know what the point of all that is, except for it's been a long and strange trip. I can tell you that much. Um, but again, it is something that your favorite biker has mentioned last week. Can you leave the club and still have the respect from big clubs? I mean, you can. I mean, and again though, I didn't leave the club just to go hang out with the club. I mean, it's not that I left the life because I still go to some clubhouses with some clubs that I'm friends with. Some are big, really big clubs. Some aren't so big. Occasionally, I tell you what's nice is I don't know. I must be getting soft, but after those number of years, pulling out of the garage for a long weekend, sometimes you just weren't feeling it, man. And especially when it's like freaking pouring down rain, and when you're pulling out of the garage and you got like an hour and a half. Or I've lived as far as 3 hours from the closest clubhouse, and was there. I'd say every weekend, Friday to Sunday night, sometimes Monday morning through. I mean, I'd take about 5-6 weeks, and I might take one off to give Mrs. Tabasco some time that she deserved. And it usually gets interrupted with phone calls constantly anyway. While I was trying to enjoy that time, you couldn't catch a break, man. And when you're about it and you're in positions of leadership, it is 100% 24/7. And that's, in my opinion. I mean, that's what you sign up for. You do it because you should. It's your obligation to your club, in my opinion. If you have the knowledge and the ability to lead, then you should lead. If you don't, if you're in it for yourself, if you're greedy, if you're a narcissist, if you're a bully, you got no business being in a leadership position, man. And most of them are, unfortunately, not in all clubs. I'm just saying the ones that I've dealt with. I don't speak to anyone's club in particular, except for the ones at the time that I was in. But I can tell you the number one world or U.S. boss I dealt with, and at the beginning, treated me wonderfully. I mean, and really even the second layer to leadership for me was fantastic, and I think he's in a. I know he's in a well. He's in a very high position now globally, but I was fortunate. I had the fortunate luck of learning and directly dealing with these guys, and they didn't treat me poorly at all. They taught me. You know, remember, this is a volunteer organization, man, and sometimes it doesn't seem that way, does it? It seems like you're on. I mean, you let grown men letting grown men punish them and shit. Probate. I don't know if your club does that. Our clubs, the ones I was in. Well, I can't really speak to the first one. I don't know. It's been a while since I was there. As far as what their practices are now, but I call them rebates, not probates. I mean, prospective in my world meant if you're prospective, it's a new chapter, and they're prospective brothers. It means that we're starting a new chapter, and maybe they get a top and bottom rocker, and they don't get a centerpiece until a certain amount of time, or maybe it's a year, maybe 6 months, whatever. Then you got probate. You know, you're on probation. I mean, it's just like it's like the word says. You're on probation, probationary. So in other words, you fucked up, and you need some time to think about it, I guess. I don't know. I mean, that's just what this is the way I came up. And there's different words and terms in various clubs, and some are like completely foreign to me. I had to really learn them with some other, some big clubs. That once I got to the higher level, I had to understand what meant what, as I dealt with their leadership. But you know, isn't it strange though? Because I've seen and heard of grown men being humiliated, made fun of, and you know what? And maybe that was always part of the deal as a a prospect or a prospective new member or a new chapter. I mean, maybe. Like I said, somebody got in trouble. I call them rebates, not probates. There's a difference, but you know, it's volunteer. It's voluntary, and I've seen some people take some shit, man. I mean, hey, if they can take that much shit and stay, it shows me the heart is there. You know what I mean? They really, really either want it or they really, really need it in their life. Um, Sorry, I should have put this on fucking mute. That pisses me off, and this damn phone's going off all the time. Shut up! Shut up! I wish we go back to not having cell phones. Some of you kids don't even remember them days. We used to call our house on a Tuesday and leave a answering machine a message, and I might call you. We might call you back on Saturday when we had time. From getting home from work and getting shit done to call you. Now people are like, I texted you 15 minutes ago, you didn't answer. My God, man, instant now society. But anyway, every one of these people on these walls, and there are some great brothers up here, great men, great bikers. If it wasn't for the club life, I wouldn't even have any friends. I think. I don't know. I mean, I had been an AMVETS member as well prior, and I had some friends, but hell, most of them are all gone now too, because I just always befriended people that were older than me, because I just learned faster that way, and I had to for the way I came up. But there's some great memories on these walls, and a lot of some solid times, man. Some tough times and some blood spilled and beer drank, and unfortunately they're not all here with us anymore, or lucky them, I suppose. I guess only the good die young, right? We'll be here a while, but I hope that your club doesn't feel like it's a prison sentence, man. I argued with my leadership the last, God, almost 2 years, year and a half. It just started going off the rails, actually, since Mr. Blackhead died, and it just got stupid. It just got, it's like they were working against us, not for us. And this is arrogance thing, man, takes over, and people just think. I mean, I don't know. They think they're the smartest man in the room, and they're not. And it's silly. You got to be a leader. You got to be a strong leader. I understand that. You don't want to take no shit. You know what the thing is though, if you've earned the respect of your peers, you don't have to demand it. And I've tried to explain that to some clubs so many times that, you can't demand respect, man. You can force action because you're the bigger bully, or you got the bigger bully, whatever, the more numbers. But those people don't respect you, and in fact, they don't even like you. And I've told that to other clubs before who think they're the biggest cock on the block. And I'm like, let me tell you something, man. You can, it only takes one to die. I mean, one, no matter who you are, and it's been proven so many times. Don't get it twisted in your head, man, thinking you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof, because you know better. So you need to earn the respect of your peers, your enemies, your friend clubs, your members. I mean, you don't have to be a dick, and you don't have to be brutal if you've earned their respect and they respect you. I trust me, it works. Now, it didn't work for everybody. One time, and I think it was at the time maybe 18, 16 years. One time I ever had I put a hand on a brother. And I'm not proud of it. It's probably my least proud moment of my entire service as a leader, when this dude just wouldn't just stop, and just totally just berating and disrespecting me in front of. In fact, it's not who you think. He wasn't doing it in front of other leaders or the members that or what would make me look bad. He was doing it in front of a probate um, and a couple of regular members, an older member who was retired, and he wouldn't he wouldn't stop. And I just kept telling him, man, don't disrespect me like that. I've not. I came. In fact, I came to the clubhouse in 3 minutes because we got a call. There was somebody outside that we were at odds with. There was a member checking out and around the perimeter of our clubhouse. So all hands call went out, and I happened to be just getting ready on my way anyway, and I lived like 5 minutes from there. I made it there in 3. I came to check on your welfare to make sure you're okay. And you want to start berating me and start running your mouth about something happened yesterday? We'll talk about it when the other officers get here, and you can have your time. We can go to closed door. But you're gonna sit here and scream at me, and I've never talked to you like that. And I finally just smashed him. I mean, I had to. I had my hands full. I didn't even I felt bad because I had my rings on, but I didn't even get a full fist in. I didn't get a drawback. I get more of a back, almost a backhand, and more of a push over a table. And I think he was as shocked as any. The other one standing there, the other 2 members on probate that were standing there, and I'm like, I mean, I'm not gonna be talked to like a bitch. But here's the thing. You can knock anybody's teeth out and you get your teeth knocked out. That don't make you a man. Don't make you right. It don't make you tough. It just makes you lucky sometimes. Because anybody can get an ass whooping. Everyone's probably had one. If you haven't, it's coming. I ain't won every one. I mean, from high school on, grade school on, really. He hit me the hardest. I never forget. I think I was in 5th grade, and it was a little dude. I don't even know his name, man. I'll never forget though. A little run of a dude. And I got no business being a bully. I wasn't a huge kid. I got bigger in high school, lifting, playing sports. But I don't even know why I was picking on this kid. And I hate bullies. I absolutely despise them. But I think I was literally in about 5th grade, and this little sucker got up and he rocked my world, man. He hit me so hard. I saw stars probably for the first time in my life, outside of like playing sports or something. And kind of just shocked me. And enough time for the teacher to get in between us and be like, I didn't get to retaliate. But you know what? I was picking on this little kid, man, and I'm telling you, he was a little run of a dude. And not that we were any that big anyway in 5th grade, but I'm just telling you, this dude, I learned a lesson right there. Yeah, you don't fight with your mouth, So I got no business picking on him, and he had enough. And nowadays, you know what happens with that? I mean, it's a totally different world than what happened back then. Could have went all wrong another way because most people don't have the pride or the wherewithal to use their fists anymore. So, but anyway, I've kept to you for enough time this day. Way too long. I shouldn't have yaddled this long because nobody's probably listening anyway this long. Try to keep these things shorter, but I haven't been on as much. I promise I'm going to get back on live. I'm going to do multi-streaming across all the platforms. If Tiki Taki wants to ban me, then so be it. They can kiss my ass. I don't give a shit. Supposedly they're not going to be here after February anyway, but that's not right because everybody's got to have their hands in it making money as far as at the top goes, and there's all kinds of crooked shit I'm sure going on behind closed doors. But it'll probably still be here, but I'll probably still get banned because I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to be silenced and monitored and everything from these platforms. They want to fuck with your free speech. And our government's already sticking their nose in. I don't care which side out it is. I've heard them saying, well, we need to have responsible social media, and people can't just say what they want. Yeah, that's called freedom of speech. Go fuck yourself. We're so sick and tired of your shit up in D.C. Anyway, the best you can do is just you keep your mouth shut before it all goes bad. But anyway, I'll be back. Like I said, I am going to try and set a schedule where once we get this place moved. I mean, I got to move. I got to pack this stuff up. I've been working on this for 2 weeks, man. Just the garage itself, pain in my ass. And we're trying to get the rest of the house packed up. We were waiting on some things that happened, which have happened now, so I can get on with the other place. But yeah, we're gonna take a little RV deal again, and we've lived in a RV for fifth wheel for probably two and a half years, maybe of the 8 years we've been down here, just moving around and stuff. Because I worked remote and Mrs. Tabasco can get a job anywhere. But we're probably going to stay in the area, but it's really the time to make some hay while the sun shines on the real estate, but then you're going to have to hold back probably for a bit until things settle back down again. Because I don't want to pay what they're asking, for land. What you can make, isn't that the thing, though? Can never have it both ways. You're making the money on, on selling something, make top dollar, but you can't turn around and buy something because they want top dollar. So we're going to try to set it out for a spell, and another one of these luxury Florida RV parks with playing shuffleboard and shit, and then make our move when the price comes down, and build my Fort Casa de Tabasco. But anyway, until I can get that scheduled and get a regular schedule going. Plus, man, I got articles. I mean, the magazine website itself. It's also, I say, it's a social community website for motorcycles. And I wish more people would get on and participate. Hell, I don't even get on half the time I need to. Keeping that brand alive, man. It took me a year and a half to even get it to where it was. And I just want to post interesting articles, which are blogs as well, about the life and about racing and people that have made influence in it, as well as the club life section as well. So I mean, it's just a lot for me to handle and coordinate right now. And but I will eventually get it set on a schedule where I'll always be on every day or whatever at a certain time, and hopefully not take up too much of your time. But anyway, appreciate any of y'all that are out there listening, and hopefully you'll subscribe, and we can hang out more together. And eventually we're going to be able to interact, because I'll be live on YouTube and be live on Meta, and as well as the Tiki Talkie and all that stuff. So once I'm all set up, it's going to be a couple weeks for that, but we should be able to live stream on all platforms at the same time, and then record those as blogs, or as as podcasts for the channels on Spotify and on YouTube, which is YouTube. I think it's just this the Sophisticated Biker, and the podcast, I think it's called Christ, I don't know, Motorcycle Garage or some shit, Garage Therapy. There you go. But it's just a lot going on here, man. Any volunteers want to help? You're welcome to contribute articles or blogs or whatever. It's supposed to be. I mean, I really built the website to be a community. So I welcome any input, or you want to write something monthly, you want to do something, talk about it. Shoot me an email, right, or just hit the contact form right on the website, www.sophisticatedbiker.com, or Twisted Wind Biker Magazine, or mag.com, and I'll get back to you. Keep it real.
She'll love you, and when they do, they lie. There ain't nobody really on your side. You let those schoolyard bullies tell you what to do, because the masses won't stand up to just a few. You're playing checkers.